Where are they?
On October 25, 1944, a lone figure broke through the surface of the ocean, gasping for air. His eyes scanned the dark water in panic, searching desperately for the men who had gone down with him. One by one, survivors emerged. Once they confirmed who was still alive, they searched the horizon for land, any chance of escape. But what they saw instead crushed their hope. In that moment, they understood that the coming days, if they survived at all, would be nothing short of a nightmare. This is their horrifying story. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
The U.S. Navy's submarine fleet, nearly 300 strong, was ordered to sink anything carrying food, fuel, weapons, or troops.
During the early 1940s, the world was once again consumed by war. One of the most decisive battlegrounds was the vast Pacific Ocean. From the dense jungles of New Guinea to the shores of Japan, the conflict stretched across thousands of miles of open water. Control of the sea often meant the difference between victory and defeat. While battleships and aircraft carriers captured headlines, a quieter force was slowly strangling Japan's war effort beneath the waves. The U.S. Navy's submarine fleet, nearly 300 strong, was ordered to sink anything carrying food, fuel, weapons, or troops. These submarines succeeded on an astonishing scale, destroying nearly 5 million tons of Japanese shipping by the end of the war. But that success came at a terrible cost. Submarine duty was among the most dangerous assignments in the Navy. 52 American submarines were lost, taking more than 3,500 men with them. Crews endured months-long patrols in suffocating heat, total darkness, and constant fear. When enemy destroyers closed in, submarines could only shut down their engines, sit in silence, and pray that depth charges detonated far enough away to spare their hull. Even worse, danger didn't always come from the enemy. Early war American torpedoes were deeply flawed. Some detonated prematurely, others failed entirely. A few even turned back toward the submarines that fired them. In 1944, the USS Tullabee was destroyed by one of its own torpedoes. Among the new generation of submarines was the USS Tang class boat designed for deep penetration into enemy waters. Sleek, powerful, and capable of carrying 24 torpedoes, the Tang measured just over 300 feet long and could reach 20 knots on the surface. She was captained by Lieutenant Commander Richard O'Kane, a veteran submariner with a reputation for sharp instincts and aggressive tactics. Life aboard the Tang was brutal. Merely 90 men lived packed together in cramped steel compartments with machinery constantly roaring. The air smelled of diesel fuel, sweat, and metal. There was little separation between work and rest. Yet morale remained high. The crew trusted their captain, their submarine, and each other, and that trust would define the Tang's success. From her very first patrol in January 1944, the Tang proved herself. In a single patrol, she sank 5 enemy ships, achieving an incredible hit rate. Her second patrol placed her on lifeguard duty near Truk Lagoon, where she rescued 22 downed American pilots' men who otherwise would have vanished into the sea. It was the third patrol that cemented her legend. Operating in the East China Sea and Yellow Sea, the Tang devastated Japanese shipping. Entire convoys burned. Tankers split apart. Massive freighters vanished in minutes. On a single day in June, the Tang destroyed 4 vessels in almost unheard-of feat. By patrol's end, 10 ships and nearly 39,000 tons of enemy shipping lay at the bottom. By late summer 1944, the Tang pushed even closer to Japan's coast during her 4th patrol waters, so shallow and heavily patrolled that most submariners considered them suicidal. Yet she struck again, surviving hours of relentless depth charge attacks. By the fall of 1944, the Tang had already surpassed the accomplishments of most submarines in the entire war, but dominance offered no protection. Her 5th patrol would prove fatal. On September 24, 1944, the Tang departed Pearl Harbor for the Formosa Strait, a narrow, shallow corridor between Taiwan and China. Japanese destroyers knew these waters intimately. Depth charges here could tear a submarine apart. Beginning October 10th, the Tang launched a devastating series of attacks. On the night of October 23rd, she surfaced inside a massive 30-ship convoy, firing torpedoes in rapid succession. 13 ships were sunk, still a record for a single submarine attack. The Tang escaped untouched. 2 nights later, at 2:30 a.m. on October 25th, The Tang encountered a crippled Japanese transport near Turnabout Island. Exhausted but determined, Captain O'Kane ordered an attack. The first torpedo struck perfectly, igniting massive explosions aboard the transport carrying an estimated 5,000 soldiers. The second torpedo sealed the Tang's fate. Almost immediately after launch, it broached the surface, wobbled violently, and curved back toward the Tang. O'Kane shouted for emergency maneuvers, but there was no time. 20 seconds later, the torpedo slammed into the submarine's stern. The explosion ripped through the Tang. Lights failed. Smoke filled the compartments. Water rushed in. Rear sections flooded instantly, killing the men inside. The submarine plunged downward, slamming into the seafloor at 180 feet, bow tilted upward. Miraculously, about 30 men survived in the forward compartments. With air running out and fire spreading, they faced an impossible choice. Wait to suffocate or attempt an escape no crew had ever successfully completed in combat. Using the escape trunk, small groups flooded the chamber and ascended through pitch-black water, guided only by a rope tied to a buoy above. Panic, darkness, and exhaustion claimed many. Of 30 men who escaped the sub, only 6 reached the surface alive. As dawn broke, the survivors drifted in enemy waters. Soon, a Japanese frigate spotted them. They were beaten, tortured, and taken prisoner. Of the 87 men aboard the Tang, only 8 survived long enough to become POS. What followed was months of starvation, brutality, and isolation in secret prison camps. They were denied POW status, labeled war criminals, and beaten for the smallest infractions. Disease and malnutrition nearly killed them. Captain O'Kane later received the Medal of Honor, accepting it on behalf of his crew.